All right, guys, let's talk about this Etsy shop and how to take it to the next level, because a lot of you guys are making these mistakes. And if you just clean this up, if you just correct a couple of these things, you can take your shop from doing decent or okay or poor to good, great, and beyond. And that's what I want for you guys. So this is a shop based on graphic shirts. And the biggest thing that stands out is the fact that this is more of like a gift shop. They don't have, like, by looking at the shop, I have no idea what their niche is, who they're trying to target, who their target market is. And if I'm thinking that, you can be certain that the algorithm is seeing that as well. So it just makes it a little bit harder. So I always like to start there. Not that a gift shop can't do well, and I'm going to talk about what they're doing and how to improve based on what they already have. But just out of the gate, it just makes it a lot easier, because when you have a niche, that is your road, that is your path. So everything that you do within your shop is kind of fitting on that path. It's fitting on that road, and it makes it a lot easier because you're serving that target market, that you're serving that niche. So you're not going to do stuff up here or down here. You're going to do stuff serving your niche. And then as you build out your shop and your products, you're going to start to learn within that niche, what is selling. Maybe this stuff is going to do well. This stuff won't do well. This stuff won't do well. This will do well. So we can continue to serve our niche better by focusing on the areas that are doing well. And it's not like we have to rack our brain trying to think of the next best thing or the next trend. We already know, okay, this is our target audience. This is who we're serving. This is what we have to think of. So it just makes that thought process and what you're doing a lot easier and a lot less stressful. Whereas a gift shop is like, okay, I got to find the next best trend. I got to find out what people are buying right now. And then hopefully it performs well. So that's kind of like the first thing I'm going to point out is just, especially when starting out, if you have a target market and a niche in mind to start, that is a good plan to have. It just makes your life a lot easier. So this shop, the first thing is it's not filled out. So there's no banner image. There's an announcement section, but it's weak. I don't want to sound harsh, but it's not that, your announcement section, even they moved it to the bottom, which makes no sense, but it's still for SEO. It still has to be filled out. There's no pictures in the about section. There's no bio for the shop members. There's no FAQ section. So those are little checks just to show legitimacy and the algorithm that you are a legit shop and performing well. Now, don't get me wrong. This shop still has almost 500 sales, which is good, but they've been around for 4 years. So that is not so great, but still a lot of people would kill for that many sales, but they could 5x, 10x what they're doing if they clean this up a little bit. So those are the first two things, niche, shop sections. The next thing is that I would recommend them doing, and this is, since they don't have a clear niche, they still have product lines. And I always encourage people, and this is, if you have a niche, this is a little bit easier, but regardless, you want to build out product lines. So when you have product lines, like when you're going to release a product, I want to, so here's your niche, and then you want to release, maybe you have like 3 areas or like 4 areas that you're kind of target as like sub niches. Well, we don't want to just do one-off products, right? Because if you have a shop that has a one-off product for a specific product line, you have another shop that has 20 products serving that sub niche, that product line, they're going to get most of the traffic because the algorithm is matching the best buyer with the best seller with the highest probability of buying the item. So they know, like, okay, if this shop has 20 items serving what this customer is looking for, the chances of them finding something they like and buying is a lot higher than sending them to the shop that only has the one product and nothing else related. So that's number one. Number two, having the product lines allow you to build out your shop more, give it more data, but also determine out of those product lines what is starting to get traffic, what's starting to do well. And the product lines are going to be just different variations targeting, or it can be different variations, different types, different styles, different whatever, but it's all going to be kind of similar. And that is going to be your product line. And then like within that product line, maybe this item will do well. This item won't do well. This item will do well. And then what we do for future is okay, these two items are doing well. So what else can we do that's related to those to build out our product line, our next batch of products for those product lines? And then maybe out of those new ones, maybe, this one does well and this one does well. So it helps us move a lot faster. So they're kind of doing that here. So they have gym here, mental health here, men here, plants here, autism. So these are product lines, and they've done a good job of building these out. These are also product lines, and they have not built these out yet. So maybe they just started, but they should continue to build on these, because these probably aren't going to do well yet. Just there's not enough data in there. So we want to build these out and give it more data to kind of see what's going to perform. But these ones will give us those breadcrumbs, so we can start to focus like, okay, out of these product lines, which are doing better? Maybe there's like nothing in the men, mowers, and tools is doing well, right? So, and maybe the gym stuff, the mental health stuff, plant stuff, autism stuff's doing well. So maybe we want to just nix this one and focus on these ones and build out our shop more that way. So it guides us in that manner. The other thing too is these work as like mini landing pages. So I would want to, and you have like 20 categories you can do, but I would separate this out a little bit more. Like they're cramming a lot of stuff in here, like this men one. Like I would separate this out like into mowers, into tools, not try to slam everything in here, and then have those subcategories if you can fit it, right? Because it helps to kind of segment that out a little bit more, and kind of see which ones of those were, because maybe the tool stuff doesn't sell, but the mower stuff sells. But I want that in its own category, and then it makes it easier. You can reference that entire section of just mower shirts or just tool shirts in your listing as an internal link. So it just makes it easier to kind of reference that. So that's how I would kind of tweak this and change this a little bit. The other thing is, again, focusing on which of these categories, and within each of these categories, what is doing well. Do more of what is doing well. If you have, so I think like actually the mower stuff, if I go down the reviews, I don't know for sure, but there's a lot of lawnmower sales, right? So that tells me that is doing well. So I would, in this case, do 5, 10, 15 more lawnmower type shirts of like different lawnmower designs, different sayings, funny sayings of these type of shirts. Because I know it's doing well. So if I did more, it's probably going to do even better. A lot of people make the mistake. They're like, okay, I have a listing doing well. Now I'm just going to move on to my other ideas, my other listings. And it's not related at all. And that's the mistake that we make, because we want to be consistent. We want to have a consistent listing strategy to keep stuff fresh and flowing and growing. But we want to base it on strategy. We don't want to just check the box of, okay, I know I need to add new listings this week, so I'm just going to throw up 3 other listing ideas that I had. No, we know we need to add listings every week to keep everything fresh and new. It doesn't have to be a lot, a couple. I usually say 2 to 5. But we're going to base that in strategy, especially if we had these breadcrumbs to follow. At first, if you have no sales and no data, sure, you're going to build out stuff, but you still want to have a strategy. You still want to serve your niche. You still want to build out product lines. But if your shop is starting to grow and you have sales, that is a lot of information that you can use to your advantage to leverage what is working. And then you do more of what is working. And you have a strategy and you have a plan based on those breadcrumbs, based on what you know is working. So the chances of you continuing to build on that success is a lot higher than just throwing up random listings that you had ideas about. So that's where this makes a lot more sense to continue to see, what is working and what you can kind of build on that is working to build out your shop. And then down the road, even with like gift shops, so say you have some of this stuff say your plant stuff really starts to take off, or your men and mower stuff takes off, right? And it does really well. You could just start to gear everything that way. You could start off this way, which is a lot of just different stuff that's not really niche related, because you're serving like men, you're serving plants, it's kind of different niches there, math, science, nerds. But if these start to take off, maybe you just go that direction. You rebrand as like the plant Tico or something like that. And you kind of just hone in on that niche. And then everything you do going forward is serving that niche. And I know, plant stuff is really popular. My wife has like 1,000 plants. So it's really popular, but you can kind of double down on that niche. You can offer different funny plant shirts. You can offer plant shirts for women. Maybe you do a men product line, and maybe you offer like stickers related to it. So you can kind of start to add and build in different stuff for that niche that kind of all meshes together, but it's all serving that niche. So it's like, then okay, I just have to focus on plant stuff. I don't have to try and figure out, okay, can I get teachers and nurses stuff to work, or can I get nature stuff to work? You know what I mean? So it takes a lot of that frustration, a lot of that workflow out of it. So it seems like they're just kind of trying to piggyback on different trends and different popular topics right now. But again, they can move this a lot faster if they honed in on what is working and kind of refined what they were doing based on what is working, adjust their shop, tweak their shop a little bit more. So those are the things that I would do to kind of tweak this and fix this and really hone in so they can move a lot faster. If you guys want more help and you want me to look at your shops, you want me to give you feedback, you want me to give you a strategy, you want me to give you a plan, hop over to the Etsy Games program. So there's a link below. We're doing the Ultimate Etsy Traffic Challenge right now. Every new premium member gets a one-on-one call with me to talk about their shop. It's positive, motivational, safe community where it's not going to cost you an arm and a leg, or you're going to have to mortgage your house or rob your neighbors for the money, right? You can join for as little as $2 a month to get in the Ultimate Etsy Traffic Challenge. So it's very affordable, very, it's a very good program, very positive, very motivational, fun, safe place to come and hang out and grow your business. So hope to see you guys over there. Hopefully this shop review helps you guys out as far as looking at your own shop and, focus on those things that I talked about so you can move a lot faster.